We're back to look at the Dynasty Fantasy Football trade market to see what deals we can find in fantasy. If you're new here, this is just a series we've been doing all offseason long, working our way down ADP in both running backs and wide receivers, and just seeing what each player is worth in the market. We cover 3 players each week, or each time we do the video. Then we just look at the trade values, and you make your decision from there. If that's something you're into, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out, because it's only going to help you with your dynasty trades. It's only going to help you identify player values. And I bump these videos out on the regular, one on running backs, one on wide receivers. And if there's a player you want me to cover, let me know in the comments below. But usually we can take a player off the top of ADP, player in the middle, player at the bottom, and we work our way down. This week at the running back position, we're starting to work our way down a little bit, and we're going to be looking at Rhamondre Stevenson of the New England Patriots. He's 25 years old. Right now in ADP, he's valued as the RB13, 40 overall right now in drafts. He had 7 RB1 weeks last year, 4 RB2 weeks. He averaged 15 points per game. This is all per RotoViz. Had 83 targets last year, third most among running backs, and a 33% opportunity share. Damian Harris is gone, so that should hold steady or more than likely increase. So that's something good. He's also signed with the team through 2024. So 2 more years we have him as a Patriot before we have to worry about the contract. Now we're going to go to the DLF Trade Analyzer, see his value here, how he's being valued on the calculator. And 1 QB is worth more than the 104, but less than the 103. So if you add it kind of together with the value, more like the 104 and a mid-second. So maybe like an early mid-ish first and a mid-second, somewhere in that range. And 2 QB around the 107 range, a little bit past the mid-range of the first round, but right around there, maybe the mid-first-ish, however you want to grade that out. In value, that's what the calculator is valuing him at. You take your stance on that however you want to do it, but going to the trade finder with actual trades on my fantasy league, here's trades straight up with Calvin Ridley. Also, Zach Evans in 2024 first, DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny and Geno Smith. This is in 2 QB, 110 and 202. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Brandon Ayuk. Jordan Addison straight up, 111 and a 2024 second. So looking at these values, there are some deals where he's more expensive than others. He's also a running back where you know you got a couple years left. He's one of the few running backs in the league where you just look at him, you know he's going to get a ton of workload. When you're looking at his short-term workload here compared to his price, probably one of the cheapest running backs that you can get per touch basis in 2023 versus Dynasty cost. So if you're here for the short term, which you should be for most of these running backs, I look at him as a short-term get, and I look for almost every running back as a short-term get. Looking at the contract, you're probably looking at 2 years here on your roster where he's being productive. Maybe you can get a little bit more, but honestly, when I get a running back, I'm honestly looking for the short term, especially right now. He's 25 years old, soon 26, 27-ish, somewhere around there in that range. I could see that. Maybe they have an extension. Maybe he gets tagged for another year, and so forth and so forth. A lot of ambiguity here. All in all, price tag here, 110 and a second. A first in Zach Evans. Very palatable for what you're looking at for the now over here with the production, with the workload going forward, and then obviously normal running back attrition with that, which you can't predict with running backs. But when you look at this price tag, that might be something you're looking at. If I'm a rebuilding team, when it comes to paying up for running backs, it's just something I'm not going to do. If I'm rebuilding, if I'm middle of the road, that's something I'm not willing to do. I'm just really just trying to gather assets, and then I'll make that move once the time is right. Well, Rhamondre Stevenson here going into 2023 looks like he's going to get a lot of workload. I think in a lot of leagues too. These are leagues where trades happened. I think in a lot of leagues it's a little bit more expensive than this as well. I think a lot of leagues it's just hard to make the trade because they know they got a running back here getting a lot of touches. And I don't think he's as liquid as what the calculators, what the trades that actually happen say. I don't think he's a very liquid asset because if I'm a team and I'm here to win it, I got him on my team, I'm not dealing him away unless I'm getting a lot more in return than what he's actually worth, because his intrinsic value with the production is worth more than that, especially in the short term, because I want to win money. Money is more important than actual trade value. If I know this gets me a good chance of winning money, I'm one of the top 2 teams in the league or something like that, the liquidity of him isn't exactly what the calculators, what the values are saying. That's what I'm thinking processing this. If I have a running back like this that's destined to get a lot of volume, he's not going to be very liquid. If I have him on a team, I'm middle of the road rebuilding, I have him, and I'm looking at the contract, I'm looking at his age, I'm looking at what I can get younger, I need to get younger because it fits my team mold better, then you're going to see more liquidity. But maybe 50, 60, 70% of leagues, I don't even know, I'm making that up. But there's a good portion of leagues where he's not liquid, and he's going to be harder to move than what the deals are saying. And that's just real life scenarios, because I talk trades on here with some of these players, and I get that in the comment section. Let me know what you're doing with Ramondre Stevenson, because he is in this flux situation where the price seems right, considering the volume you're getting in 2023. But considering the volume in 2023, with the price being right, I just don't see it happening too much as well. That being said, maybe not as liquid as what we think. This player here is super liquid. He's super liquid. Even his joints are liquid after all the injuries. We're talking about Rashad Penny from the Philadelphia Eagles. Signed a 1-year deal with the team. He's 27 years old. Ancient for a running back these days. RB 43 in ADP. 133 overall. Let me know if you think that's cheap or expensive for what he is. And here are some other players in that range right now. Samaje Perine, Israel Abakanda, Chase Brown, Damian Harris. So there's some other running backs in that range that come right after him per ADP. Real drafts are different, of course. Also, you have DeAndre Swift there, but ADP was calibrated after that. So the value is in there. He had some production in 2021. He had a good run there, but injured the next year. Injured a million times throughout his career. He's often injured. Going to the trade analyzer, he's being valued as a late third and 1 QB and 2 QB. So pretty much he's saying, or the market's saying, because this is configured off the market, is that he is a cheap speculation play. He's a cheap speculation veteran. And people are putting chips on the cheap. Going to the trade finder in 2 QB, they traded him straight up for Hendon Hooker. 2 thirds in a league, 309, 2025 third, Malik Davis in a 5th. Chase Claypool, we talked about him in a video like a week or so ago. When I think about this situation here, not just him, but just the situation in general, because this can really mold into other players. It's really what you want to do with your cheap picks, what you want to do with these veterans who are on the downturn, but do have something in their profile that could allow them to pop for a few games, but the odds are severely stacked against them. You kind of know what you're going to get, but also the sunk cost in some leagues could be bare minimum. When it comes to me, I just look at him as a speculation play. I'm not really trying to get at him. I don't care. I don't really care about Rashad Penny. But there are some leagues or some trade scenarios where I can see off the rip where he could end up on my team just because he's just a throw-in. I don't even ask to just put him in the trade and he's there. And I'm just caring about the other pieces. He's just there. I throw him on the roster and I just go with it. He's adding no value to the deal. Also, most of the deals I see done, they're bigger deals with a lot of players. We can't go over those in these videos because we'd spend all day just breaking down tit for tat what went on with the trade. However, this is a player that's just a speculation play. Kind of expensive, but you can also say kind of cheap. It's really how you interpret it. I kind of look at this as an expensive speculation play because I can speculate on players for cheap, and a lot cheaper than that, who have a lot of flaws, who are more than likely not going to make it, who have the odds stacked against them, who also have upside. So I'm looking at that. This next player has a lot of upside, has some stuff stacked against them. He is cheaper, a good bit cheaper, and it's Ty Chandler of the Minnesota Vikings. 25 years old, even though he's 2 years into the league. This is his second year. He's 25 years old. Those are those old rookie players coming in the league because before you know it, they're 25, 26, 27. Right now being valued as RB81, 245th overall. He's free. However, Dalvin Cook might be gone soon. We're seeing more news percolate in social media over that. I look for the value to be increasing. It should be increased now. It should be rising a little bit by the day, but it'll only go to a certain point. He ran a 4.38 40-yard dash at 204 pounds. We have some athleticism here. 5th rounder in 2022. Popped in camp last year. A lot of people talking him up. Does have some upside. Going to the trade analyzer. In all formats, he's going for a 4th round pick. Seems fair. Makes sense in my head. But you go to the trade finder, and this makes even more sense. 309 straight up. 305 straight up. 405 straight up. 5th round straight up. 2024 3rd straight up. So around the 3rd round range. That makes sense because you have a speculation play here at running back who could be in a situation where he could be the RB2, maybe RB3, because we do also have McBride there now that they drafted him. We have some competition. That means we might see a running back who's a speculation play when attrition happens in the season. Once we get middle of the year, and if he's still on the depth chart here as one of the top backs, could give you some patch-up games, could be able to pop for you. Those running backs get some chances here and there. We do see these running backs happen throughout the season, and you may want that at the end of your roster. And per ADP, per some of these trades, it's a little bit cheaper than some of those other speculative running backs, but I expect that price to go up a little bit, and I expect him to be a little bit less liquid. The time to get him, though, was probably a few weeks ago, a few months ago, prior to this, mid-season last year. You don't want to really go in now, but you kind of can because the price is still palatable. It's just that it just feels better. It just feels better a few weeks, few months ago because the price was lower. The anticipation was a lot lower, even though there was some caution in the air around Dalvin Cook. Now it's starting to be more real by the day. A lot of people talking up Ty Chandler. A lot of people talking up Dwayne McBride. We see it. The price is just inching. The liquidity is going down. And that's what we see. Also, liquidity could be going up because he'd be stashed away at the end of the roster. And now it's go time for that manager. They feel like they can move him. Sometimes you can catch a deal on that. Sometimes they just try and hold you over a barrel. We see it both ways, especially looking at Trade Finder, hearing people in the comment section. That's just real life when you look from Dynasty League to Dynasty League. But Ty Chandler, cheap speculation play, but the price is going up just in little increments, and it's only going to go up so far, but the time to speculate was a few weeks, a few months ago, because he was one of those running backs on the back end of the roster who did have some upside. But those are 3 running backs we're looking at right now. We're looking at their trade market, seeing what's going on with them, seeing what's possible for our Dynasty leagues and our leagues, because every Dynasty league is different. I'm not going to car salesman you on these players. I'm just going to give you the information. You just do what you want to do with them. And let me know in the comments below who you're trying to get. If you got any suggestions, who you want me to bring up for the next video, I want to hear about it. But I want to thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.